Hello, everyone. It's that time for the JMOR Tech Talk Show, where we answer questions about technology, explain the way they should work, and why they don't sometimes. And now here's your host, John C. Morley. Hey, everyone. Welcome once again to the JMOR Tech Talk Show. Great to be here again, Marcus. Thanks for being here. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing outstanding, John. It's very good to be with you today as well. Another great Friday. We have made it to the end of the week.
Yeah, I don't know where the week is gone. Where's the month gone? We're going to say where's the year gone pretty soon. We're in January, so we can't really say that. We could say where did 2020 go? But, speaking about where do things go and, people talking and communicating, you all know what this is, right? An iPhone. And I bet you've probably done this before, Marcus. You ever send somebody a text before on your phone?
Yeah, I have. And we think once we send a text out, that's it.
Well, because that's how people were trained. You just send a text and you're good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so much a problem with the iPhone, but it is in a second. But on Android, it's even more serious. So imagine you sending a text, whether it's a phone number or some password, and you think that it's secure, but really it isn't, because somebody could actually intercept that text right in midstream. That'd be a problem.
That is a huge problem. I mean, can you just imagine things that are getting sent unencrypted?
Yeah, I can absolutely imagine it, because I can tell you this, that on the iPhone, if you click on settings, there's something here. You're not going to see it from my phone, but if you go to where it says you can basically you'll get the blue. So that's a good way of knowing that you're sending an iMessage, whether that's a picture or whether that's a text. Now, suppose you don't have an iPhone. Well, there's ways around that. You actually can do what I still do, because a lot of people are sending messages that actually do not have an iPhone. So I downloaded a program not too long ago. It's actually called Telegram. You might have heard of it. It's a free program, and it's getting so much exposure right now. I can't tell you, every day I look at my phone, it's like, congratulate such and such who just joined Telegram. And I'm like, who's this? And they're like part of my regular contacts. So they're starting to scare people, because when you text on an Android phone, it's not secure. And if you don't enable the iMessage feature, it's not secure on the iPhone. So you can get Telegram, you can get Signal, you can use WhatsApp, you can also do Apple FaceTime. I really like Telegram. There have not been any annoyances of Telegram. You even have the ability to set up whether it accesses your contacts, whether you're using the microphone, Siri search, yes or no. Do you want notifications to pop up on your screen? So when I click on that, do I want to see a screen, sounds, badges, etc.? Do I want to use cellular data for it? But what I like about Telegram the most is that when you're using the program, it's really easy to use. It has nice icons on it. And when you're actually typing a message, it actually will say, like, Marcus is typing, and you'll literally see it. Now, when they send the message, you'll actually get a green check mark when you send it. When you get the second green check, it'll let you know that the message was received.
Yeah, just like the iMessage. So this is great, because they saw a spike, like you said. And as an Android user myself, I try to avoid at all costs, using just the regular text messaging. I definitely, use all other options as best as possible to stay off the radar, so to speak, when I'm talking, saying, doing anything, that's like I would consider a private conversation.
Exactly. But let's just suppose that you went to Europe or you went overseas, right? So texting really doesn't work with a lot of carriers overseas.
Absolutely.
So you can use Skype. There's a lot of other programs. Now, Signal's done by Microsoft. I'm not really crazy about that. But I actually like Telegram. I started using it several months ago. It's free. There's no pop-up ads on Telegram. And there's just a lot of great things with it. I mean, you can set languages. There's chat folders. You can not only do texting on Telegram, but you can actually have different types of communication. So not only can you just do texting, you can have voice communication.
Oh,
So
that sounds fantastic.
a nice little device, nice little program for you, and it's really starting to catch on. The other nice thing about it is on Telegram. Telegram surpassed 500. I'm going to show this to you. 500 million active users the other day in the last 72 hours. So that's more than 25 million new users around the world. Thanks to this new milestone, they have made it possible for users every day to be popping up on Telegram. And I'm starting to see people like, why are you on Telegram? Oh, I'm concerned about such and such, and my friend said to download it, or my son said to download it. Okay, I just didn't think you were savvy to want to use it. So Telegram is free. You can get it from the App Store, the Google Store, really easy. So again, we're always talking about keeping yourself secure, and it's a free way. It won't cost you any money. So if you are going to send those personal messages, do make sure you use it. But why should somebody be knowing your business? I mean, something as simple as, we're leaving for vacation. You might not think that's a problem, but suppose an unscrupulous person in the area finds that, wow, I guess tomorrow's the best night to rob them because they won't be home. Remember, robbers do want to break in when you're not home because they don't want to confront you. Most smart robbers, that is. I'm not talking about the beginners. I'm talking about the advanced, because those are the ones that are going to circumvent your alarm system no matter what kind of security you have. So again, I don't say this to scare you. I say this to caution you. All right. So definitely check out those programs: Telegram, Signal, WhatsApp, and Apple's FaceTime. Of course, many of you are familiar with that. You do need to have an Apple ID to use Apple's FaceTime, so that's important. Wikipedia, you've heard of Wikipedia before, right?
Yeah, and happy 20th birthday to them, this week.
Yes, happy birthday, Wikipedia. So it becomes apropos to talk about them today. Everybody talks about people on their birthday, either with like a jiving them or kind of wishing them well. But the thing about Wikipedia is they were thought of as a joke for a long time. Oh, they're that wannabe website. But Wikipedia is interesting because you could get a Wikipedia page right now, but I'm going to caution you. You can go to Wikipedia right now and start applying for some small pages and probably become popular. But here's the problem with it. Suppose, I don't know, you have an argument with your friend, and now your name is up on Wikipedia. Anyone can comment on Wikipedia. Oh, he's an idiot. He didn't give me back my stapler. So now your laundry is now on the entire web. Yeah. So be careful about setting up a Wikipedia account for yourself, because you may get yourself in hot water. But the thing about Wikipedia that's really interesting, Marcus, is that Wikipedia is this wealth of knowledge, not just useful information, but a lot of useless information, or what I like to call trivia. Great conversation starters on dates, or ones that'll probably leave you in the car if you talk about them too long.
Yeah.
But so sites like YouTube, Amazon, Apple, and Google are now starting to really rely on Wikipedia to get answers to different questions.
Yeah, it's kind of ubiquitous, actually.
Ubiquitous, yeah.
Yeah, ubiquitous, because they're using it to actually flag conspiracy videos and news stories. And now, when you use Alexa, Siri, or search to answer questions, it's almost like a reference point, and if you were in high school or college, they will caution you about using Wikipedia. So it's kind of ironic.
Well, the thing about it, Marcus, is that people were against Wikipedia because they really didn't have a stable backing, and they didn't really know how well the data, was put together. But even though people put the data together, because remember, it's a whole bunch of people that are doing it, they have found that most of these people are putting quality data out there. And for Google, Amazon, Apple, and YouTube to be using it as a reference, that's almost like saying that if we don't know a word, we go look it up in Merriam-Webster's dictionary, right?
Exactly.
So we're starting to put maybe not as much faith as we do into Merriam-Webster, but they are starting to give it, I guess, a higher scale of recognition.
It does rank pretty high when you're searching for things, and that is one of the most popular things about it. It's free of ads, and it operates through donations. So I do applaud them for that.
It's a great thing, and it was actually set up because a lot of times you have a word or you have a concept, so you can create a word about something on Wikipedia, and that's great. Or maybe you have a concept or you have a business idea. That's great, but I don't encourage people to put their name there. Because if you're an author and you have a website, that's one thing. And you can control the content. But when you put something on Wikipedia, it's a place where people can just publicly post about you. Right. Good or bad, or maybe lies.
So with that last comment, John, I just got to ask you. So do you feel like they're living up to their goal to making it a widely accessible encyclopedia despite that comment?
I think they're really working hard because, see, you don't get a main page Wikipedia overnight. You can apply for a branch and probably get that pretty quickly. And then I'm not going to say you're just going to get a Wikipedia right away. They're really going to look to see if it makes sense to give you something. And I don't think that Wikipedia wants people to air their dirty laundry or X-rated content on there. I think it is designed to really provide knowledge and be like an encyclopedia in the electronic format, right? We all remember Encyclopedia Britannica and other encyclopedias, and then they went online, and it just made it so much more enjoyable because people could get the 3D experience and they could hear things and see things, and it just made people want to learn more. But with that thought, you know, and a lot of things evolving, we have a recent alumni from SpaceX who has a brand new startup. I'm not sure if you heard about this.
This is my first time hearing about it, to be quite honest. But once you dropped me over the story, I looked it up, and I see that what they are doing really is going to help people make better diet decisions.
Yeah, so what they're going to do, at least from what they're saying right now, is they're going to be able to tell you what your real-time metabolism is. I think that is incredible. There was a company a while ago that I actually purchased, and I thought it was going to do this, but it really didn't. You would take breaths, so many breaths every so many hours, and it would try to give you a status of your metabolism, but really it just gave you like a 1, a 2, or a 3 or 4. It really didn't give you much. It was an expensive device. It was a couple $100. It was a really cute looking device, but it really doesn't do anything great. It kind of tells you whether you're doing something right or you're doing something wrong, but it really doesn't give you any guidance. Almost like a fad. But I think this startup that they're working on is going to be pretty amazing because, you know, they're getting all these people on board to want to do this. And, you know, being a, let's say, a former engineer of Mr. Ellis's company, you know, it's going to be interesting, and you actually can do a lot because the thing about this, he launched this to build this LA startup. It's like this new ecosystem that the SpaceX alumni, and he's trying to create, if you will, a system, like you said, that's going to teach people how to eat better. And it's going to use AI technology. I'm curious to know how it's going to work. And is it really going to deliver what you and I expect? Is going to give somebody value to change their life? Or is it just going to give somebody a number? Because the product I bought a few years ago was terrible. It was a great, sexy toy gadget, but it didn't really do anything nice. It talked to me, it linked to my phone, but it really just didn't do anything for me. And I think that's sometimes a pitfall a lot of times that we fall into, is that we want to buy the new technology and we want to test it out. But the funny thing about this, Marcus, there was no return policy on this. Right. Well, there was. It was 12 days. But you really couldn't start getting to know the system for like 60. So how can you offer a return policy for 12 days when you're not happy? I don't know. So it's going to be interesting. We'll follow the trends on where that's going with that alumni person and see what's going to happen. But I think it's definitely going to be something that has never ever been done before, and we'll just have to keep following that. But being able to measure your metabolism, and for those of you that don't know, that's actually your body's system that actually gets rid of your food and actually turns it into energy or to fat. And so if you know that if you eat a cookie or you have a drink, a glass of soda or water, hopefully, which is 0 calories, or you have that water that's somewhat flavored with 30 calories or something, you will know what kind of energy needs to be exerted to burn off that set of calories that you've just consumed. So I think it's going to be pretty priceless.
This is definitely going to be a trailblazing type of an invention that's coming our way. Diabetes is a huge problem.
I agree with you.
When you think about things like diabetes, it's a huge problem in America. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. And to be able to do this in real time, we can really take a more holistic approach about what we want to do for our bodies.
My only concern is how they're going to do it.
Mhm.
Are they going to have something that you're going to put on you? Is it going to be something very simple, or is it going to be something very evasive? I'm hoping it's just going to use some type of scanning technology, but I don't know. The other device uses breath, and based on the type of breaths that I take, they can tell basically how much I've consumed and how many calories I've burned. But I think the technology, Marcus, was there. But in this particular device that I had, they just didn't push it to really analyze it. But I think the breath is the key to unlocking our metabolism.
That makes a lot of sense.
So speaking about technology and things that are, blazing all over the world with different, let's say, arrays of interest levels and things that are going to be in the future, we have an interesting guest coming up that I want to share with you. So there's a gentleman, his name is Tino Go. We're very fortunate to have him on our show today. He's actually the founder of Baru, but what he did is he is an internet retailer of custom furniture. He works with cabinets and millwork manufacturers throughout the United States, and he lets you manufacture pretty much a custom piece of furniture with a variety of options using CNC machines, which are really robots. And if you're wondering what a CNC machine is, because I'm sure you're probably going to ask me, what is a CNC machine? Well, in English, what a CNC machine is. It's a computer number control system, and it follows a specific program and can make cuts, punch things, a whole bunch of stuff it can do, and it does it in the same way every single time. So we call it a robot. But the older term for a robot was a CNC machine, and we've had them for years and years and years and years, but now they're becoming a lot more robust in what they can do. And we don't really refer to them as CNC. We refer to them more as robots. So what he was able to do is he allows these companies that basically had downtime on their, he calls it the CNC machines, and he has worked arrangements with them so that he could buy time to basically manufacture furniture by using his app, which is pretty neat. He has founded Baru, and they deliver custom home furnishings to consumers. And Go discovered that ordering a custom bookcase was downright medieval. Thus, his app was born. Please help me welcome to the stage Tino Go from Baru Furniture. Good evening, everyone. John C. Morley here with the JMOR Tech Talk Show, and I'm very pleased to have Tino Go with me today, a serial entrepreneur that is helping us understand something that is starting to cross many people's paths, whether you're in business or whether you're a consumer that needs these products. how do we actually digitize the manufacturing supply chain? We're going to learn a little about that through some of the things that Tino has done and is continuing to do himself and with his company. So I have to ask you this, Tino. Whenever we talk about any of these type of things, what got you so passionate and wanting to follow this particular area in business?
Yeah, so essentially it boils down to two reasons. First of all, I looked for a bookcase for a particular corner of my house and I couldn't find one. And when I investigated how to get it made, I discovered it was a medieval process. And that was super frustrating to me, how we had to succumb to these antiquated processes in the 21st century. The second thing is my profession or my trade, my expertise is in corporate finance and how to restructure organizations to end up with better financial results. And I knew that there was a lot of automation out in the world that could be used for this just-in-time custom manufacturing that should be able to be used to their ultimate purpose, making things for people who want products. And so that was how I came to this idea. And I knew that these machines were available and that we should be able to talk with them through our computers, through the internet. You're muted, John.
Very, very interesting story about how you got on this interesting path. And as now we're probably working through some of the challenges and tribulations and growing this. I have to ask you, so what is it your company is creating? And when we say creating, are you doing anything with local jobs? And is this having any specific effect because of the current pandemic or not really?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've discovered we're reinventing, we're using augmented reality to radically reinvent manufacturing. At the same time, we're supporting our hometown businesses, we're helping to create hometown jobs, and we're saving the environment. And so the way we're doing that is we are letting buyers select the product they want, customize it directly on their computer or in augmented reality. And when they place that order, we're digitizing those customer specs for the product and translating them into the code that drives CNC machines. These are robots that are located in our hometown custom cabinet shop or a millwork shop. And so we're using those idle machines to bring back production jobs to our hometowns from overseas factories. And so in our first category, wood furniture, if we had the whole market, we would eliminate $9 billion of logistics costs, and we are redistributing that to local manufacturing services. So that way we can charge the same price, but we're just reallocating the cost structure.
Now, Tino, you and I know what CNC machines are, but many of our viewers do not. Could you give us maybe a quick 30-second bird's eye of what is CNC manufacturing and how does it work in a nutshell?
Yeah, CNC machines, they are robots that are instructed to do what the manufacturer wants them to do. And so if you think about it, it's kind of like it's like sending a Word document to a printer. We are sending that machine the instructions how to cut wood. And it cuts the wood that we feed the machine.
Very similar, I think, for our audience to maybe understand when you go to the malls a lot of times and you see these people making caps or you see them making embroidered items. Now, it's not on the exact same level, but I guess it's a very similar concept because you are taking some information, not as complex, and sending it to different areas that actually has the machine, instead of printing with ink, it actually prints with thread.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Similar to our 3D printing, which we're starting to see now too, where 3D printing is printing with different types of polymers, plastics, and even certain types of metal now that is becoming quite cost effective, isn't it?
Yeah, and so that's the whole point. I mean, everyone wants something different in their home or in their office, and we are allowing them to, with a few taps of their phone, to take our pre-engineered product and customize it to the size, with the materials, with the components they need as an individual buyer, and we are taking those instructions from the consumer and translating them into instructions that run a machine.
When you say instructions, because a lot of the people, again, are not engineers and maybe you're not carpenters or builders, when you're saying instructions, you're basically referring to choices or selections that people make on your website or your app. Am I correct?
Yeah, sorry. That's exactly it. Sorry. So when someone wants to buy a credenza or an entertainment center, for example, but they happen to live in New York, and so they need it 5 inches more narrow, but they want it 10 inches higher so they can maximize their space, for example. Or maybe they live in a 1920s legacy home and they need a different size to fit the spot that they've got. That's what we're allowing people to do. They take any of their products, the ones that they love, and we're allowing them to customize it. And we're taking those customization instructions and translating it into manufacturing instructions.
So it's like the refrigerator. Now we could actually flip the door on the refrigerator, but a while back you couldn't have the refrigerator opening to the other side. So you had to build your kitchen, I guess, for a right-handed person and not a left-handed. So I guess that was something that changed with just-in-time manufacturing. But as you're doing this, this is just amazing to hear about this new type of technology and how you're embracing it. I bet you're probably facing some challenges with this. And I have to ask, what's the biggest one that you've probably had to overcome? And are there any that you're still wrestling with right now?
Yeah, the biggest challenge was to get people to imagine that this could even exist. It's never existed where you can, until now, where you can just order something custom made and have it delivered in a couple of weeks. And so getting people to imagine and understand that this is possible was the biggest challenge. And then, but now people are understanding we're operating and selling in 12 regions of the U.S. So we sell and then we set up a manufacturing partnership in that region, in that city, and then so our next challenge is the fact that we're kind of constrained on the budget, on the marketing budget.
So I guess, whenever a company is starting out, there's always different things, whether it be cost or whether it be planning or trying to do things in a way that's going to make sense, but it's going to work, right, for everyone, not just for the consumer, but also for the business. Because if it's not profitable, as you know, being in the financial industry, you don't do something if it's not profitable, right? You don't do something to make it easier for someone, even though we want to help people, right? If it's not profitable, well, why do we want to have a business for it, right? Mm-hmm. My other question I have for you is, so now that you've explained some of the challenges, I'd like to know, what is, let's just say, your biggest strength right now that you bring to our marketplace?
Our biggest strength is that we can provide for buyers exactly what they want and deliver it in under 2 weeks. It's made in their hometown. We're providing local labor and we're saving the environment for those who are attuned to this situation of environmental harm. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We're a supply chain solution, and by being more efficient, we're providing those businesses much higher profits than they normally earn from their regular business.
So if we want to look at this from, I guess, a cost perspective, because that's how everything always evolves, right?
Yep.
What is the ultimate problem that you're solving for people today, whether it be businesses, whether it be consumers? What does that real problem, break down to?
Ultimately, it's personalization. When you want to buy something, you know exactly, you have an idea what you want to buy, and you just want what you want. And currently, to buy furniture, it's you have to find something you want, and then often, if you're at all space constrained or style constrained, what you choose to buy is the least offensive solution for the problem you're trying to solve, or often, a lot of times, you just can't find what you're looking for, and that buyer experience is just what we're solving for. And on the manufacturer side, manufacturers in our manufacturing partners, they're generally earning about 10 to 20% profits, unit profits on their work. We're actually doubling or tripling those profits, and we're still staying at a consumer price level that they expect. That's all. That's all because we've eliminated so much of the transportation and inventory handling in the existing industry.
So that's all because of, I guess, a combination of the just-in-time manufacturing and I guess utilizing the machines so that when these machines that are normally working in a typical day, they're not working 24/7.
No, in our manufacturing partners, they're generally only working 2 hours a day.
So they're happy when you can give them a price. Maybe it's not the full price that they would normally make, but I'm sure they're happy to have that cost, especially if they're leasing these machines.
They are elated, and actually, we are paying them their list rate for low volumes, but they're dropping, when we pay that much, they are dropping 80% of what we pay them to their pre-tax line.
Is there anything right now that you wish, and again, of course, you're very grateful for all these people that are helping you. I would definitely be. Do you wish there was something that they could do for you that they're not doing right now?
The manufacturing partners?
Yes, the manufacturing partners. Is there something that you wish they'd be able to do to make your process a little bit easier?
No, our existing manufacturing partners, no, because we've taken our process down to a level where it's almost effortless for them. We go straight to the shop floor, we deliver the materials for them, and buy and deliver the materials for them. And ultimately, what do I wish they would do is, they could promote what we're doing. It would give them additional business also. So that would help both of us.
So I guess in terms of manufacturing, so you actually buy the product for them, you send it to them, and then they just make it. Am I correct? So they
Correct.
really don't have to do any thinking other than you're sending the instructions, which are already made for their machine. They really don't have to do anything. They just have to load the raw material into the machine and make sure it's loaded properly and maybe do a cut sample, and then they're ready to run. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's right. And the process is so robust they don't even have to do that sample because it's really plug and play.
Is there a certain time for, I know because many years ago I helped design the system for Stanley. Is there at that time it was like 1 every million blades, which is a lot, but back then, that seemed great. Now that's a low number. What is the test rate? Do you know, like when you're making this, is it how many units that you have to calibrate for, or that's not even a thing that you have to worry about?
No, the software is robust enough now that it simulates perfectly. And then the machines, they work, even poorly maintained machines work well within a 30-second of an inch.
So anyone could operate these machines, whether they're out of high school, whether they have a degree. They don't need a lot of training to operate these machines. Am I correct on that?
That's correct. We are doing all of the thinking, and we are delivering the ready-to-go machine code.
So this sounds really awesome. I'm sure more people are going to be taking advantage of this great new process that you're bringing to the market. I have to ask you in the challenge question, whenever you have something like this, there's always a limit. And I always have to ask that because that helps us to expand and to, go further. What is the limit? What can't we manufacture this way? Is there any type of product or item that is going to be a little bit of a problem, at least right now, and why?
There are actually very few limits. Each machine class has limits on what it can produce, but you have other machines that will carve a bust of Abraham Lincoln if you want. So it's truly limitless.
So basically, I assume the only limit might be the material, because there's obviously some limits to what the CNC machines can work with. Am I correct on that? Would it be a metal or wood?
Yes, you have woodworking machines, or you have metalworking machines, or you have plastics.
So I guess the biggest challenge I probably would hear is that you have to decide how you want to make this, and that's something you decide, and then you get it. Basically, this is a fabrication process. So manufacturing and fabrication are the same thing. But because you can do it just in time, you don't have to waste that raw material, and you're able to do that for other jobs. You don't have to stock, I guess, a lot of this raw material, because I assume a lot of the supplies are very similar. Am I correct?
Yeah, we're only specifying the supplies that are available already in distribution, quickly available, quickly delivered.
This may be a stupid question, but how many, I know you said you give a lot of choices. Let's just take, what's one of your popular items that you have? Is it a desk or a chair? What's one of your popular, a desk? So how many, roughly, customizations could I make on that desk? And what are some of the types? Not so much that I can move left so many inches, which obviously yes and no, but what are the other types of, let's say, benefits as a feature to me as a consumer, or to me as a place that's trying to wholesale these to, let's say, a place that needs furniture? What do I have at my disposal to choose from besides color?
Well, let's start with the dimensions. If you can change the dimensions of a product, height, width, and depth, 20 inches in each direction, you have 8,000 size variants. And then you multiply that by material selection and color selection and the hardware choices. So for every product model that we offer, we could have 20,000 different variants, SKUs, if you want to call it that. And so to the customer, they can choose any of those variants, and it's a very customized experience to them.
So it's almost like, like you said, going to a website, picking the options you need. So somebody doesn't really need to know the SKU. They basically look for the desk. Is that correct? And then they say, I'm looking for this size desk, and then it comes up with things that are in that range, or?
No, you choose the product you want.
Okay.
Call it a dresser. You use either our app or a measuring tape to determine the size you want it. And you place an order for that size in the material you want, and we deliver it in under 2 weeks.
Now, does the consumer pay for this right at time of order, or do they pay a part of it? How does this get billed to the consumer?
Yeah, they pay for it just like they would buy from Amazon. They pay for it, and we deliver it in a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks. So somebody orders something. Does it matter where they are in the country, or do you have pretty much places all over that people can order? Is there?
Right now, we're in 12 metro areas of the country.
Okay.
And as we get sales, one of the things I do is my first communication is thank you for the order. You are our first client in that metro region. It may take us a little bit longer than 2 weeks. But generally we establish that manufacturing partnership in that metro area within a few days of the order.
So they can go online, customize. Now they actually get to see a 3D, like a 360 view of the item. Is that correct? They can actually rotate it. Very similar to, like, you see a lot of technology, you can pivot it to see exactly yourself holding it pretty much.
Absolutely. They can download our app and see the product in augmented reality in their space.
So this is quite remarkable because, when you think about manufacturing, you always think about limitations to how many you have to produce to get the right cost. And with this, I can actually build something and actually get that same discount that I would if I was going to a large manufacturer and they were normally making in the traditional means. But because of this method, you're able to lower the costs. I'm assuming this is also going to help people that businesses that want to even lower their costs that would already be cheap. They could get even lower if they still wanted to use this method to, or no.
What we are eliminating from our cost base is the global transportation and the management of inventory.
Okay.
And so those are non-value added costs. So what we've done is we've taken that 50% cost reduction and we've reallocated to higher quality materials, local manufacturing services, and so the customer is getting a higher quality product at a market equivalent price.
So we've talked about a lot of things for consumers and for businesses. Is there anything we haven't really shared as in terms of benefits to the consumer and the business? Have we talked about anything, or is there anything else that we've left out to a benefit for the consumer and to the businesses that may take advantage of using this particular process?
Well, the businesses, for example, if you're talking about business buyers, they can reduce their lead time because normally to outfit an office is in the weeks and months of timeline, and we can reduce that lead time, to a minimum of 2 or 3 weeks, and so that has all kinds of operational benefits in the sense that it reduces the risk of the build out, for example. In terms of consumers, they get a better quality product. It's customized just for them. It's made quickly and delivered from a hometown facility. So if they have any problems with it, we know we can fix it with, being a hometown facility or.
So you've got a guarantee right there with their purchase. What is the guarantee for the items? Is it like 90 days? Is there a term period on the warranty on, or no?
Yeah, we're offering a 2-year warranty, and we're offering a 30-day return policy. Even though it's custom made, if they don't like it, we'll refund back 90% of the purchase price.
That is pretty neat. Now, when you talk about all this mass customization and custom mass production, because that's really what you're doing. You're doing custom mass production at affordable prices with people's own personalization and customization, right? 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Now, they don't make it 24 hours a day, but you can go at 3 a.m. in the morning or have a latte and do it at nighttime. You could do it right after breakfast. So I guess time is great because nobody wants to go to these different furnitures. Some that starts with an I, some that starts with a T. And although they're very nice, they're time consuming. And I think you've got a great time now with COVID because people really can't shop the way they did before.
Yeah, I've been noticing that a lot of our orders are happening around midnight, actually.
And I guess that's no surprise because people are busy during the day. I say that there are two types of time for business owners. Basically, there's revenue generating time and there's non-revenue generating time. And if there's something you're doing and it doesn't have to do with making revenue, well, you want to make sure it's in the non-revenue generating time, or that's probably going to get that business owner to not be too happy with you or not schedule you. So I think those are important points. But also when we talk about this, there's something I think called, what is it, Industry 4.0? Is that the standard?
Absolutely. So Industry 4.0, or what they call also the fourth industrial revolution, is the next evolution of manufacturing, or the first industrial revolution was the mechanization through water and steam power. The second industrial revolution culminated with widespread mass production methods that was enabled by widespread train networks and the telegraph. The third industrial revolution occurred in the 80s and 90s when computers became when they became common and there was more and more digitization of business processes and business processes and practices. The fourth industrial revolution is taking all of those separated individual but digitized processes and connecting them into systems and ecosystems, if you will, to cooperate. And that's what we're doing. We're taking cellular phone technology and augmented reality and connecting it directly to a manufacturing facility and an underused robot, CNC machine, to produce custom goods on demand.
So it sounds like you have a great plan here, and you have a great vision with where you're going with the company. What are your plans next, Tino? Obviously, this is something you're going to keep developing, I'm sure, and the supply chains will keep developing. What's on Tino's roadmap to do next?
We are in the process of scaling revenues in two regions where most of our sales are occurring anyway. That's the San Francisco Bay Area and the New York City region. And eventually we're going to scale our sales there, improve our gross margins, and then we'll focus on all the other cities where we've already had sales and where we will get sales in the future, like Chicago and St. Louis and Austin. And eventually the goal is to once we're ready, we can globalize our infrastructure, because globalization just requires a new website in the local language and new supply relationships. But these machines are everywhere in the world.
So it's pretty easy to scale, and they speak everyone's language because the machines are pretty much just like oxygen is everywhere, or other types of machines like mixers. You can get them everywhere. So this is becoming something that it's not going to be hard to find as the years go on. A question comes to my mind, being another serial entrepreneur that you are. I would like to know, what can you share with our viewers? What lesson did you learn by doing all the stuff that you've done? Obviously, being in a business and then going into your own business, what have you learned, and what can you share with other serial entrepreneurs that maybe want to get started but really aren't sure because they don't know what's going to happen?
That is the nature of starting your own thing. You never know what's going to happen, but you keep going down the path. And there's a book called The Alchemist that tells a story about someone that goes on a journey, and as they keep going down on the journey, fortuitous, lucky breaks happen over time, and they meet new people that help, or they come across some lucky event that helps on the journey. And so entrepreneurship is a lot like that, because you meet people who want to help, who love the business, who want to buy products from you, and it all starts with that, the previous step that you made the day before that continues the journey.
I always say, Tino, that first of all, if you're going to be a serial entrepreneur, you have to throw away the clock. If you are a person that's going to punch 9 and out 5, well, don't be a serial entrepreneur, because the hours are not on a 9 to 5. They're not a banking schedule. So if you can't deal with that, bye. The other thing I tell people is that, except for, you have to make some investments, you have to take some risks, you need to understand that you have to play a little bit. And you have to have your plan and what you're going to do, but you have to play and try things. And if it doesn't work, well, okay, don't get frustrated. Just retool and try again. Maybe don't throw the whole kitchen sink away. Maybe just change the faucet or change the color of it, and maybe you'll have something that sparks.
That's exactly it. It's a series of experiments. It's like was it Thomas Edison that discovered the 100 ways not to do things?
Yes, yes. He only found 999 ways about the light bulb that it didn't work. 999 ways that the light bulb did not work. So I think a key thing is knowing where you want to go. But the last question I have for you, Tino, is what would you say are three characteristics that you need to have or traits to be an entrepreneur in today's economy?
I think it helps to have to know who you are as a person and as a professional, and then so that way you know whom you need around you as a team. You know, I've got almost 20 people that surround me. Each one is expert in their fields, and but each one is very different from me. So that way, there's not so much overlap in what we're doing, and so there's a good, good separation of responsibilities, good ownership, and there's also good cooperation because everyone brings their own expertise and to the table. Um, yeah, I mean, there are so many things to know. I would always seek advisors because you can't know everything. And so, John, you've been a great advisor, and each time we talk, we have great. I get insights.
I think that's what fuels everybody each day to live our own mission. A wise person once told me something, and if everyone in this world likes you 100%, not that that's a bad thing, but it's not a great thing. Now, not that people hate me, but if everyone in this world likes me 100% of the time, you know what that means? John's not bringing his A game, and I'm not being competitive enough. So if everybody likes you for what you're doing, you're not working hard enough. And I don't mean working hard enough, you're not being creative enough. If you got those people that don't like what you're doing, that's good. That's a good thing. It's these people that are fearful that you might get ahead, and they just don't like that.
You know, it's there most of the world, I think, are happy in doing regular jobs, 9 to 5 jobs, and not challenging the status quo. There are some of us that feel compelled to challenge the status quo, either because that's the way we're made,
Mm-hmm.
or or it's a combination of that's the way we're made plus we see an opportunity.
Tino, this was really interesting learning from you and also about your vision and your financial background, and also how you took all these pieces to, I guess, a big enigma and kind of put them together into something that makes sense. And I know our viewers definitely appreciate all the insights you've brought with us tonight. Is there anything you'd like to leave with our viewers before I say goodbye to you today?
Sure. We are selling stock in the company on WeFunder. WeFunder.com/Baru Furniture. And for as little as $250, you can buy ownership in our company.
And $250 is one share of stock.
$250 is it's not one share. It's well, the current valuation is $4 million pre-money. And so $250 doesn't give you a lot, but it will give you a piece of the company nonetheless.
That is great. So if you want to be part of history, ladies and gentlemen, you can check that out. Once again, Tino, thank you very much for your time. Really enjoyed having you on the JMOR Tech Talk Show. We wish you a very happy, healthy 2021. Now that we are in a brand new year, great time for new visions, great time for new types of ways of doing things, and most importantly, to do them faster, better, cheaper, and with greater results for the ROI. Again, it has been a pleasure. And again, we wish you all the best with your company and with selling your stock and with all the new visions that you're putting forward in this amazing new journey that you have started not too long ago.
Thank you, John. Thanks to everyone. And I'm available at tino@hellobaru.com if anyone wants to contact me.
Great. Thank you again, Tino. Wow. What did you think of that, Marcus?
That was just great value. Once again, slam dunking it. Really
Thank you
appreciate.
so much, Tino. And the thing about Tino that I have to share with you is that he came from the financial world, and he basically didn't start a furniture making company. He took a process and he automated it, and then he was able to have local businesses be able to use their downtime to basically make money. Now, he did negotiate a lower price, but if you're paying a lot of money for a machine every month and it has lots of down arrows, I'm sure people would be more than happy to get something for the machine because it's sitting there with dead weight. So I think this was really a remarkable and ingenious idea that he had. And it's just fascinating to know that he came from the financial industry and he became tired with the way things were running. And he was frustrated when he went to buy that bookcase. So a lot of times, when you're working for a company, even though your degree might be in that, that may not be where your passion is, ladies and gentlemen of life. So you really have to pay attention to what happens and what unfolds in your life because that 9-to-5 job or what you signed up for a few years ago may not be what you're destined to do.
I think that's the biggest message that we can pull out of this, and that is so important.
It is. What was the thing that stood out to me the most was how it's not about making furniture. It's how he took a process and he automated it and then put it into an app.
That's that's brilliant.
It was very, very brilliant. So
Very
you
brilliant.
can actually you can go to this website and you can actually buy stock into his company. I think his company's definitely going to go somewhere. He's spoken at a lot of different places, and he has a really revolutionary concept that I believe is going to be, I'm going to see a founding pillar for where we're going to be going in manufacturing in this new decade. I think he's really setting the bar to where we're going to start going.
He's definitely leading the way, and he's definitely an innovator here.
And these are the kinds of people that we like to have on the JMOR Tech Show that, are innovators, that are leaders, or that are beginners in their field and just, taking a risk, especially when it comes to technology. But to come from the financial industry and to just do a complete 360, there was a lot of learning that had to happen for that, as we learned.
Absolutely.
But speaking about learning, Bitcoin, around $140 billion, Marcus, is either lost or stolen in Bitcoin digital wallets.
This is truly astounding. This is just a lot of loss of money here.
And the thing is, you forget your password, you're done. There's no 1-800 number and, we'll be happy to reset your password so you can get your million back. That doesn't happen. There is no customer support. When you get a Bitcoin wallet, you're on your own.
That's the way it is. And I don't think they're planning on changing that because the whole key was privacy. But I'm wondering what's going to happen to all of this lost money.
Well, the thing is, the money that went in there, they purchased and that was lost, you have to realize that the wallet, the one who has the wallet, they're actually the ones getting the money. So even though it's lost to you or I, because we're the ones that have the wallet, but we're not the bank.
Exactly.
So the bank is not really losing out. You'd love to have a few people a year lose $1 million or $100 million, right? If you were the one managing that bank.
Wow, just imagine that. They're we're just essentially just helping the banks out.
Well, not the banks
Not the
so
banks per
much
se.
in traditional banks. And I have to tell
Yes,
you that none of this is FDIC insured.
exactly.
So in other words, you're on your own.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no best practices for financial institutions that's out to, help you with custody of the digital assets or anything. So I guess,
Well, you know, it's not like, we have a consortium like we do,
yeah,
with computers. And I think the whole point is that they're probably never going to have anything like this.
no.
And I don't know why. I guess I don't know why it's being allowed to be continued when it's causing such a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's
But
even programs out there that's locking you out, after like so many attempts, and that's just bananas.
oh, I know. Imagine you not being able to get into your wallet because you forgot your password, and now you can't remember your 17 phrase reset code. It's not like the consortiums we have for security on the internet and computers and things like that. It's not like that. I think we need to have one in Bitcoin and we need to have one in IoT. I think we need a governance set up. I think that's definitely something that should be put in play. I don't know if we're going to see it anytime soon, but I think what should happen in blockchain is it should be done away with for money. And it should be used as a validation system for records, healthcare, etc. But it should not be used to put money in. And this way, if there is an issue, you can call in and get the wallet reset, but it's strictly for credential information, but not for money.
I agree with you, because even last year we started seeing the questions popped up on the IRS. They were asking you, how much do you got in Bitcoins and all of those different type of weird questions. But yet there's people losing it. How can you report it?
There's no way.
So it only makes sense to just completely get done with this, so people who's following the craze right now get in on it right now and then pull out immediately.
You got people right now, Marcus, that are spending their savings on building, they call them rigs, computers. They put them in their bedrooms. Okay. They're probably louder than a vacuum, and they have like 4 or 5 of them. And rather than going to get a job, they build these things, and maybe each one of these might make, now don't lose your chair, $40, okay, per day. So if you got 4 of those working for you, okay, you could do the math on that, $160, but you got to pay electricity on these things.
Yeah.
So what are you down to? $120 a day. Then you got what if the machine breaks down? But everyone is just so crazed. It was almost like the R&D, the Dungeons and Dragons. You remember that years ago? It's almost like that, but worse. That's what it reminds me of. So in new technology, we have a robot that came out that I kind of like. It's called the Bot Handy.
Yeah, this is cool. CES, right? Without some of the newer bots that's out there. So this is going to be great. And from what I hear, it also can pour you up some wine.
Yes. On your date, it can actually pour your favorite beverage. So the Samsung Bot Handy uses just the right amount of pressure to grab items in your home. So how does it do that? Well, it has several sensors on it that allow it to know what type of material it is actually picking up. And then it's programmed to know how to hold it, how much pressure to give it or not. And just a really interesting thing. So it has almost like some eyes on it. It's a one-armed robot. It can pick up a dish towel. It can load dishes in your dishwasher without breaking them. And yes, it can even pour you or your date a glass of wine.
There's going to be a lot of people jump into this just for the look of it. I think it's going to be very trendy, a very sexy item. As John, I got to steal a word from you real quick to describe check tech, and the whole security aspect of it. I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, but I'm very concerned about a couple things. So this robot communicates. It has access to the internet, so probably connects to your home router.
Oh,
so that's well. How do you think it's going to connect? Unless they have some type of chip in there, they don't specify that. But I'm presuming that it's going to connect to your home router wirelessly, and it's going to be sending information back and forth. But here again, it's going to be sending data. What kind of data? Okay, is there a microphone on board? There's cameras on board. Where's that data going to be stored? What server? Right? Because this robot, I don't think is going to have the intelligence to operate unless it's connected to the cloud.
That makes a lot of sense. And with all things that's going, being transmitted and transferred into the cloud, there's always opportunity for the crooks to come in and snatch it out.
Those bad actors. And it actually uses AI, artificial intelligence, to recognize and respond to your behavior. So that means it has to know a lot of information. It can't store all that information on that little tiny stand that it moves around.
No, it can't. This is as you so predicting, there's going to be the need to really specify how it protects from the bad actors.
So this is a perfect example, Marcus. We talked about it with a gentleman just a few weeks ago. You remember from Asia, where we learned, from Mr. Weaver from Asia, Carl Weaver, and we were talking about, and he's saying the word that we've used a lot to show governance, which is that something needs to be put in play. But we've talked about this too before. This is just a big IoT. It's part of the Internet of Things world. And when things sit on this edge and they compute and they process data, where is the data getting sent? And if it's getting sent to a secure area, is that place being secure and is other people touching that data? The best way to describe this to everyone is that let's pretend I have a glass of water. It's not pretend. Okay. Now I got a sip of water. So this bottle here right now, if you can see the way it is, if let's just say I was to take this and I was to pour this into a glass, okay? And I was to take a sip out of this great big bowl. Now, you're also sipping out of this same bowl. Another person. So how do we keep this from getting contaminated? How do we keep our germs? How does that happen? So think of it like that, because the germs are not going to be isolated. It's not like there's a filter that's keeping my section of water filtered from your section of water.
Right.
And that's what's going wrong with edge computing and distributed computing, is that they forgot about security. They just thought about convenience, flexibility, power, artificial intelligence, and affordability. But they never talked about security. Ever. We're going to keep watching them, Marcus.
Yeah, we're going to have to. And like so many other things, when it's rushed like this and everybody's just trying to look cool, it's a recipe for disaster at some point, and there's going to be a lot of regrets in the long run.
That's the problem. Everybody wants to make that quick buck, but it's going to be interesting. And a lot of people were saying that this bot robot they feel it's a bit creepy. I guess because it kind of looks like a person. It has one arm on it, and the fact that it can do human-like tasks. That's interesting. And now they actually came out with another product alongside the Bot Handy. It is the AI Announce. So the Bot Handy, it features have creeped a lot of people out. It has 2 adorable eyes that people say, and it can even change its expressions. And they say, most people, that it is impossible to resist how cute and admiring this futuristic creation really is like life. So they made something called the AI Announce, which is something new. AI Announce, well, the robot's not out yet, but the Samsung, it's called the Samsung AI Announce. And the Samsung AI Announce is an AI-powered telco. So what does that mean? Well, really good. It's going to allow you to connect globally. So that means that your robot is basically going to have video conferencing ability. You're going to have some serious internet for that.
Yeah, you are.
But here again, there's data, there's pictures, there's video. And now that you buy that add-on feature that allows it to do AI Announce and to do conferencing, that's just going to, I don't know, that could be dangerous. Let's just think for a moment. If somebody were able to hack into your home router and were able to communicate with that robot and reprogram it, that could be a disaster. So they don't share.
That robot won't be pouring you wine anymore. That's for sure.
No, it might be throwing the wine at you.
Yeah.
But we'll keep our eyes peeled. So another little gadget has come out. It's called Flow. I'm not sure if you heard of this. So a lot of people get allergies. You press the little button, take the cap off first, press the little button, hold against your nose, nostrils, and a 10-second infrared beam is shot. Photobiomodulation to stop allergies.
Oh, this is cool.
It's cool, but does it really work? Have there been enough case studies on it?
I don't know, John. What have you found out about this?
Well, it's fairly new. It's new, and the thing I always look at, is did the FDA approve it? It looks like it was not approved yet. So I think it's more or less a concept that they want people to become comfortable with, but they got to go a lot further and get FDA approval if they want people to use this. So that's one thing. Another thing that's happening is we all know that we've heard about telemedicine and telehealth, right? That's no secret to anybody. Well, what if there was a device that you could buy, not a robot, but a little device you could buy. And this device could actually take your temperature. Well, that's not a big deal. But also a part of it with an attachment could actually check your heart. Another part with an extension odontoscope could check your ear. Another part could be a tongue depressor. So how would all this work? Well, you have this device. Now you have your medical telehealth visit, and it will start sending medically approved picture quality to the doctor that you're meeting with, and also let them see the data of you. Interesting, right?
That is.
But here again, we got another IoT on our hands. The question is, where's the data going? What server is it on? Who has access to it? Who's managing it? Where's the security on it? They don't talk about any of that, Marcus.
No.
Now, we're into podcasting and videos and TVs, but something that's always important to us, and whether you're producing a video or a movie, is licensing. So imagine having your own box office at home. Let's pretend that you wanted to watch, this new blockbuster movie that just got released. And you go into the room and you watch it. But now suddenly your partner or significant other comes into the room and the movie stops. Well, that's because when it's more than one person, they want to get an extra ticket fee to make sure
Yeah.
they're getting paid. So it's a little sensor that goes on the top of your TV, and some programs will not even show the video without that enabled. There's some that actually will require you to pay for even one ticket. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
The question
So
is,
this,
are people
yeah.
going to really do that? Are we getting away from the movie theater, Marcus? Or do you think we're going to be back to the movie theater in a few years?
I think people still got that need to go the traditional. It's gonna be. I think we're gonna see a hybrid at some point where people say, well, we can just do it from home, buy some popcorn, we'll do it from home. But there's gonna still people that's gonna enjoy that traditional way of doing it, and I think it's gonna keep the Marcus theaters open. That does it right. I think they're the only one.
There's an experience to going to a theater. Maybe they'll have a bigger
Right.
screen than you have at home, a lot larger. They'll have
Right.
sound that's going to blow you out of your mind. And some theaters may even get into the point where we get into not just 3D, but what I call 4D or 5D, where you're going to actually get to have senses to what's going on. We've already seen this with Disney, where things like in Life is a Bug, they spray you with different kinds of scents or air, or they have little things that come out of the chair that you're sitting on to make you feel that it's a bug. Maybe the chairs will rock back and forth. Who knows? But I think theater is going to change if they're going to want to keep people coming to it. And I think the ticket price is going to go up dramatically, because now that you're giving people more of an experience, well, hey, we got to pay for that technology. And
yeah,
let's face it, those animatronics, they're expensive and they break.
They absolutely do. And I really like what you're saying about just the transformation that's going to happen with movie theaters. That really makes a lot of sense, because in order to compete in this world, you have to not keep doing the same old. You have to deliver something new.
Well, what was the famous person, Einstein, that once said, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity. So if they keep doing the same thing over and over again and they expect to get more business, well, they're being insane.
No, they're going to get the same old.
They're probably going to get less.
yeah, a lot less, because that generation that loves the regular movies, they're going to just phase out. And, because these new kids coming up, they already know about Netflix and the Disney Pluses and the others, as we call them, of the world.
It's going to be a very interesting experience. But one of the things that hit me that I thought was interesting, I want to share with you, it's called the My TV. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I just was looking over it just a moment before the broadcast here. This is quite interesting.
So it uses transparent OLED screens to display video. Now that is pretty hot. Now that's really sexy. When it's off, the screen looks like an exact piece of glass.
That is really impressive.
So that means the image has to be projected. It looks like, the way it's working, it's saying it's using an OLED screen. But the funny thing is, I've never seen an OLED screen before that was totally clear. It's almost like those windows they had many years ago where, they would have these blinds where you could use an electrical charge to have them block, so have like a privacy shield on. And when you turned off the privacy shield, it would actually remove the charge from the window.
With the way this thing is looking, you can imagine that it isn't cheap at all.
No, I'm thinking, what do you think this thing's going to cost?
I'm gonna give it a little bit over $1,000.
Well, keep giving. You're generous tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, I try to give people hope.
Well, I appreciate the hope, and we all do. I need you to give times 7. Could you do that?
Oh wow!
It's going to cost about $7,000.
Oh my goodness.
So they just said you should start stacking away some cash now, so you'll be ready when they come out.
Well, that makes sense.
But
it definitely worked though.
Yeah, and the thing is, this TV already has come to China already in September, so we should be seeing it soon.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a new revolution in the way TV is going. Nobody wants the old let me carry it around. Let's make it a little bit thinner. Let's make it more impressive.
Yeah. So the manufacturer said 7,000 was not quite enough. It's actually 7,200, and the TV is releasing in China as part of a 10-year anniversary now. They claim it's the best TV. Okay, well, that's marketing talking there.
Yeah.
And they say it's like looking through a window into another world.
That's pretty impressive. And the thing about it is the wow factor in this thing. I think what really is going to captivate people is the fact that now you actually have a piece of art in your room that can give you entertainment rather than just another piece of furniture.
Now, remember I said to you that I never heard of an LED TV being clear, right?
No, I have not.
Right, and that's because it can't. So I'm thinking about this as I'm, brainstorming and looking at the design. There's no way that this thing can produce, and I checked, and it can't. The guts of this are all in the base, and it's using an LED projection to come up to the glass. So the glass is just a piece of glass.
So should we worry about someone getting thrown through the TV?
I mean, the thing is, the glass, I don't know, the glass is probably expensive, but again, the guts is what makes it work. Right. And it's just interesting, to see, what they're doing. They say it's great for movies and to watch stories. And it has a 93% of the DCI P3 color palette. So they said it seems great, but they have very few concerns that the manufacturers have not been able to answer. Of course, they always ask questions that they can answer because they're the marketing team. But if you presume that you can watch or play anything on this TV, what kind of content is going to be best? Well, they're saying the best thing for it is to show off animals.
Yeah, again, this is definitely just motion art. That's what it seems like. This is great motion art inside of your home.
I can't see watching a football game on this thing.
No, that's not really going to work out.
But it's only available in China right now.
Yeah. Which really makes a lot of sense at this point.
It makes a lot of sense, but my question, Marcus, is they can't be the only ones that are doing this. Like, they're the first ones we're learning about, but I'm sure there's going to be other companies that are going to come up with this. We remember rear projection TVs not too long ago. Yeah. Then we had the different types of LED, and then you got to the other LED, and then the one that was more money, and then it was supposedly a better picture, but it didn't last as long.
Right.
And then they all came down pretty reasonable in price. So I feel that this is going to do the same thing, but I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think it's probably going to be a few years because it looks like the technology in this thing is pretty expensive. I mean, the way that they put everything into that base and they're projecting it up, I got to believe there's a distortion ratio. When it's being shined up like that through that little, I just got to believe that's got to be present. And, seeing that glass, I'm also believing that glass probably gets dirty a lot, collects a lot of dust.
Yeah, so keep cleaning.
Yeah, keep
that'll be the best advice.
Yeah, keep cleaning, and not only that, it's probably not the TV set you want to have home if you have friends or family members that like to play baseball in the house. Well, they shouldn't play baseball in the house anyway. No. But it's not the TV you want to have in the family room.
No, not
could be a few pennies to fix that TV, not $100.
Yeah,
I'm sure more than 1,000.
Right. This is more like, good motion art to me, or good entertain. If you want to entertain, some real high class or hot date. So if you're a bachelor, this is perfect for you. So I wouldn't.
Are you really going to watch movies on it? I
No,
don't.
I don't think so. It's good background.
This is like the TV, Marcus, and you probably remember this from a few years ago.
Mhm.
Nobody bought it. It was the TV that was 3D. Who has that TV?
Yeah, not many people.
Nobody.
No, nobody has
TV
that.
was like $4,000.
Right.
You saw it in the stores, but they really didn't sell many of them.
No.
I don't think they sold any of them, actually. But that's what they do. They market these features and they hope people will buy them. And half of them you're never going to use. I think this TV is going to be a benchmark for other people in the United States to want a counterpart. Maybe other manufacturers that bring things over, because they always have a US version and a China version. Then you have a Costco, a BJ version, which is like scaled down, and they have the same thing, but they change some SKU letters. So you don't get the exact same parts.
Right.
You don't get the same warranty either. So I think this TV, they said it's an introductory because of their birthday. So I don't know if they're going to keep doing this. The question I want to know is, how long do they last? And I'm just thinking, from the way it's built, I don't think it's going to last too long. Because remember, when that thing gets hot inside, LED TVs do not like it hot. You know yourself, if you take a laptop and you don't have the right cooling on it, well, you're going to blow your motherboard. You're going to blow your monitor. We already see what happens on some of the Apple products when they have that cable and then the monitor goes bad. It's $500 to get a new monitor because you can't change the cable. The cable's part of the monitor and you can't replace the cable. They give you a very cheap cable that connects to the main board, but you can't just buy the cable. So why don't they make a better quality cable? Well, so they could charge you $500 for a whole new flipping panel with the same little flimsy cable that'll break in a few years. But if you have Apple Care, they'll cover you. But if you're one day out of Apple Care, well, sorry, you should have checked online. Well, why didn't you tell me that we were out of warranty? Oh, sorry on that one.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. So, as we're kind of wrapping up our show here, next week we have another great show. Well, we always have a great show. But next week we have another great show. And we have a great guest coming on. And the thing about it is that a lot of times, when you think about what's going to be going on, it's actually going to be a surprise because this particular guest is more toward the business market. And I feel that it's important that on the Tech Channel that, we get insights about what's going on so that we can help you make the right kinds of decisions that you want to make for your friends, for your family, for your business. So, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, if you have a product and you would like me to unbox it, you can drop on by to JMOR.com and click on the reach out button, fill out the contact us form, let me know what the product is, and one of our team members will reach out to you. And if we like it, we'll go ahead and do an unboxing, and then we'll do a review. If you or someone you know can provide value to our show, again, this is not a sales presentation, but someone that can really give value, please reach out to us. Let us know if that's you or if that's another guest. And we'll have a quick little interview with you to see if it's a fit, and be happy to have you on the show. If you have any ideas, ladies and gentlemen, of guests that you would like us to get, or if there's any products or things you want us to talk about, or just things going on in your life with technology that you want me to give you my 2 cents or my opinion on, I'd be more than happy to do that. Well, Marcus, I think that's going to bring us to the end of the show. It's always great to have you here, and I guess we're going to be back next week, right?
Yeah, we'll be back next week, my friend. I really appreciate you.
All right, everyone. Have a great week. Be safe, be smart, practice social distancing, and have fun, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thank you for tuning in to the JMOR Weekly Technology Show, where we answer your questions about how technology is supposed to work and sometimes why you have challenges getting it to work that way. For more IT support and tips, just text IT support to 888-111. That's IT support to 888-111, and you'll get tips on technology. I'll see you next week right here on the JMOR Tech Talk Show. Remember, JMOR.com.